What's going on, guys? Udino here, and trying out something a little different today. Originally this video was going to be me analyzing the renders of Multiversus, you know, like Relax Alex style, but this turned different. After actually looking at all the renders now in a close sort of way, it's kind of is going to turn more into pretty much a rant video, I guess, about them. I think a few amount of them could be better, and I guess I can just give my opinion on how they could be better. I mostly judge by if what they're doing in their pose is actually something they would logically be doing given their character and their personality, their playstyles, anything like that, and if they're easily recognizable from a silhouetted kind of view of the render. Examples I can use for what I'm trying to get with is, say, characters in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Realistically proportioned characters, such as Snake and Ryu. The renders manage to perfectly get what the character is about and stay in character while also being interesting and appealing to the eye. Not to mention, they are two characters with pretty striking similarities and yet look totally different even when you take all the detail out and make them silhouettes of the actual character renders. Ryu has a more grounded and serious pose with ripped clothing, short and extremely spiky hair, and a long flowing belt and headband. Snake, on the other hand, is always crouched down to be as inconspicuous as possible, with a flowing bandana as well, calling on his codec. My only complaint since I'd say Super Smash Bros. Brawl is this weird kind of merge between Solid Snake and Big Boss, who are different characters, but they are not the same. They have not done anything the same. It's just one is a clone of the other one. Even when blacked out, these guys stand out completely, despite having arguably their most iconic qualities be in common to both of them, and even the others in the game, like Roy or Richter. Even characters who nearly have identical designs are fairly treated and easily distinguishable from each other. On paper, Fox and Wolf should be hard to tell apart from each other because they look so similar. They're literally just like anthropomorphic furries in jackets and pants. But not only is their designs fairly different in a way, but their posing is completely different to a point you will easily recognize which is which. But that's enough of stroking Smash Ultimate's dick. I'll start off with the ones that I actually like and fit the character for the most part. Not even for the most part, it just does. Obvious ones that already stand out pretty well that no explanation is needed, I'm just gonna skip over because no explanation is needed. The characters in question are, Iron Giant, Taz, Bugs Bunny, and the original character, Rhindog. For the next I'm actually going to talk about, there isn't really any specific order. It's more so I looked at the entire roster and just went in order there. Finn, the human, I feel is also a really perfect one and gets exactly what Finn is about, and in both the game and in his series. A cartoonish character with a real goofy pose because he just has that kind of strong yet uncaring personality to him. He is perfectly capable of doing things in his own way without having to seem normal. Even with all that being said, he's still always holding a sword, ready and eager to adventure. That's quite literally his entire being. Batman is so perfect and iconic, I feel I don't even have to say anything. While I don't like Steven Universe pretty much anything after the first couple of seasons, I will say Garnet is probably my most favorite render out of all of these, to be honest. Her unique everything is so perfectly used to not only show what Garnet is all about, but to also entice you to actually learn and play the character. Jake the dog is Jake the dog. He's a stretchy dog. He is deceivingly simplistic, despite being a heavily deep character, just like how he is in the series. It's perfect for him. He just wants to be that fun, cool older brother to Finn, and just around like a helpful guy around the entire land. Ooh. The last one I really like that I wouldn't change is a fairly obvious one everyone loves, Tom and Jerry. Just who knows what demonic thoughts are going on in Jerry's head. Next, I'll get into the few characters I like, but I think maybe a little bit can be changed about their render. LeBron James is in the game. That is honestly one of the funniest things to me. Not even like, he doesn't have like a special name or something to differentiate from him. It is quite literally just LeBron James.
LeBron James.
Albeit from the Space Jam series, but LeBron James. I think his pose is actually pretty fine. It's pretty good. It even manages to reference a mechanic that is built into his gameplay, in which he can pass the ball to his teammates, if he has teammates, and support them. He's obviously in a stance that would be most suited with passing the ball, if not just, holding it. My only issue with it is when you do silhouette the render, it is pretty hard to tell it's LeBron James and not just some other locked character. The easy answer would probably be to just change it to the logo of the Air Jordans shoe brand. But I feel like there'd be some sort of copyright complications there, so let's ignore that for now. Instead, if we have to go with something original, I proposed a more stylized version of his side special. Depending on how it is posed, you can probably even make out his huge fucking Minecraft Steve beard. It'd be pretty good. As for Superman, I think out of the entire cast, he struggles the most out of lack of personality, I guess, because he is just that clean-cut, do no wrong, perfect white man saving everyone. Because of that, I can have a little more sympathy for them trying anything instead of just having him fucking T-pose in the character select. But I feel there could have been something more. There's a little more they could do with Superman. He's been around for decades. He's had plenty of poses he could use. For the final part of the video, I want to talk about the renders that just don't represent the character at all. It's they could be better. I generally like playing Velma the most out of the entire cast, except maybe Jake, but I have to admit her render is not very great for her. But this pose does not stand out at all, given how bland it is. It's really just her standing, smiling, that's it. Even if you silhouette out the render, it's hard to tell that it's Velma. Girl in a skirt is not exactly a breathtaking design. I think her losing her glasses is kind of an easy pick, especially since they made it her crouch walk animation, her crawl. It's that's a her thing. There's not a lot of characters that do that. At least none that are relevant like Velma. If not, then something like her side aerial, the flashlight, just because she's an investigator. I can't really say a whole lot about Arya Stark, generally because I didn't watch Game of Thrones. I know, even me, whatever. But I guess I'll keep this part short to compensate for that. I don't really like how kind of vague it is to tell that she's even human when you just silhouette out the whole thing. It's just that fur coat really messes it all up. Not to mention, she also has the hair kind of flowing in a weird way, unlike all the rest of the cast. And her weird, out of nowhere kind of sword just on her side. It doesn't look natural, at least when silhouetted out. Lastly, Shaggy is hands down getting represented the worst out of the entire cast with this render. And I feel like it makes no sense, and they should have put more time into it, given he's essentially the second or maybe even first, depending on how you look at it, poster boy of the entire game. The advertising started with Batman and Shaggy. On paper, it does sound good to, give the scared, unconfident character a little more confidence for a fighting game. That's fine, it's been done before, but I feel it's really disingenuous to fans of Shaggy, whether in the game or the show or anything else. People like Shaggy, this isn't him. A good example of a shy and kind of scared character being in a fighting game is Luigi. He's one of the most shy and scared people in all of fiction. All of his renders throughout the time he has been in Smash Brothers, and almost all of them outside of Smash Brothers, he's that shy character who's either doing something to show he's really scared or doing something really weird because he is just a weird guy. Getting back to Shaggy, I don't really have an issue with him being in the game. I think it's great that he's in the game. He just feels like a meme that shouldn't be there. He feels like a mod, and what it essentially already looks like it should be a modded game. My issue with his render is that it does not show a single quality of Shaggy whatsoever. It doesn't represent him at all. It doesn't get a single character quality right with him. Not only that, it's boring. There's nothing to it. Unironically, if Freddy was in the game, it would fit him so much more. They just took a Freddy render and slapped some Shaggy paint on it. In this render, he's ready to take on whatever is in front of him, eager to face them, ready to fight, fully prepared for the fight. Strong, confident, mentally untouchable. Shaggy in visual media is always scared or lazy and doesn't want to go on whatever adventure his gang wants him to go on. He's only ever convinced to go for usually food reasons. Even his idle pose shows more character that is exclusive to Shaggy than anything else in the game, including the render. This render for Shaggy, of all characters, is the equivalent of in Super Smash Ultimate. Mario had a he's doing a spin dash. He's doing a Sonic spin dash, and that's his render. My suggestion, honestly, go full mask off. Let Shaggy sit in his recliner, feet up, with a doobie in his hand, smoking like the stoner he is.
No! I don't want to be a brain! No!